Hey, this is Jeffrey Suey. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about getting a coaching job and the different kinds of coaching jobs there are out there. This is a big subject right now because there's hundreds of thousands of people that are making a little job transition currently. And I'm going to just share a little bit for a second about why some of that is happening and what to do about it as well. First of all, to make money in the world or to have something in terms of a job or a business that really brings in a decent income, you got to do one thing. You got to create value. And a couple things are happening in the business world right now. One is that there are businesses that have been around for almost 100 years that have kind of forgotten how to create value in the present marketplace. They created a lot of value before. That's one of the reasons why they grew. And now they're really not doing much more to create new value. Also, the other side of things is that our perception of value in our culture and what has become valuable because of technology and changes that are happening, value has now changed. And even if you don't decide to move into coaching as a profession or get a coaching job, I would suggest that you get into an industry that allows and provides information that's usable for people, not just to learn, but to get them from A to B, to actually lead them to a new place in their lives, because that's what a lot of people are looking for. Or that you actually do become an information provider, that you figure out a way to provide more information to the people that really want it, and highly valued information as well. Or you open up communication between groups, and somehow you either communicate or you help others to communicate as well. So now let's get to coaching. Now the great thing about coaching is that this as a job or as a profession, as an industry, is providing everything that I just mentioned. Coaching concepts create a chance to learn information because you're passing information from one person to another. They also give advice that will move people from A to B. They also allow for communication between people, not just because coaching encourages communication, but the very type of communication that coaching uses helps people to learn how to communicate better. Now, a couple things to understand or be prepared for as you're thinking about getting a coaching job. The first one is the style of coaching. And this is actually talked about in the article that we have on our blog about coaching jobs. And if you want to go to the blog, just click on the link. Should be on the right if you're watching this on YouTube or something like that, or the article might be on this very page. And I also invite you to go to our blog to get some videos that we have available that's totally for free, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end of this conversation. So back to coaching style. So there's lots of different styles of coaching. One of the things that we found at our company, JTS Advisors, is that different people have different strengths as coaches. Certain coaches are really good with strategy, thinking strategically, planning things out, thinking at the 50,000-foot level, helping and supporting someone, being a little bit of the counselor or the psychologist. And these individuals are usually a little bit more low-key, non-confrontational, but they also take more time with their clients, and they really listen and get into the kind of the deep recesses of someone's mind and soul and get into the details of it. So there's certain individuals that are great strategy coaches. Most of the time, however, the people that are really great strategy coaches aren't necessarily the best accountability coaches. That's another type of coach that we hire and that we employ at JTS Advisors. Accountability coaches, they are usually a little bit more short and to the point. They're straight shooters, so to speak. They're usually a lot more intense. They're the kind of individual that loves a confrontation, they love a challenge, and they're not afraid to get in somebody's face and let them know, hey, look, you got to do this a little bit differently. So sometimes they're not your best friend, but many times they kind of get you off your butt and get you to do the things that you need to do. Sometimes these are the bosses of the world, the people that we don't necessarily love so much, but they make the world go round. They have that power. So accountability coach is another kind of coach. We also employ what's called assessment coaches. And assessment coaches learn how to read people, not just by listening to them, but also by reading a set of graphs that we create. And if you're interested in learning assessment technology and what that can provide, definitely go to our blog, but also you can take a complimentary assessment at freeperformanceprofile.com, and we'll actually debrief you on your results of your assessment. We've got some audios that'll take you through that as well. So it's freeperformanceprofile.com. But anyway, beyond that, the assessment coaches are able to kind of read someone's assessment like an MRI, and they see past whatever's on the surface, and when they work with somebody, they work from that perspective. And so as an assessment coach, you can help somebody find their blind spots and keep them on their radar screen so they don't hold you back anymore, and also gravitate towards your strengths as well. The second aspect of coaching jobs that you'll need to understand is your niche, or niche, as some people like to say. And the niche is something that you may not know exactly what it is when you first start out, because there's so many choices of niche, and you may not know what niche you're going to work with. So, I usually suggest just getting out there and coaching rather than selecting a niche initially, because you just might get the wrong niche. And a lot of success or failure in the coaching industry has to do with niche selection. But the bottom line is, a niche can be selected in two ways. Number one, it can be selected by a certain group of people, a demographic, a geographic region, a certain job type. So you could just coach doctors, or you could coach people of a certain age or sex, or religious affiliation for that matter, or ethnic aspect of them. So there's so many different ways to divide up groups of people. And depending on how you do that, you can find a really great group that you can become an expert in coaching, because you know their problems, their strengths, their challenges, and what the answers are to help them turn things around very quickly. That's a lot of value to add. Another way of selecting a niche is by thinking about what you provide people. And you might find a very particular type of service, like one of my coaches does life purpose coaching, and she helps people find the purpose of their life. That's a very specific item of value to add to people. Lots of different people get life purpose coaching with us, but that's what they're after. And so instead of saying, I just work with dentists, you could say, I work with people who want to find the purpose of their life. And people will search that out. A couple things to think about as you're thinking about your niche, and these are really key, so you might want to write these down. Number one is you want to find a niche that is not only clearly delineated, so you know that you can locate that group of people, you can get a list of those individuals, that's important, but also, number two, you want to find a list of people that are actively searching for you, that need what you have to offer. They don't just need it, they want it. They're out there on Google doing a lot of Google searches, trying to find, how to grow my dental practice. That's a niche that, a lot of successful coaches work with, coaching dentists on how to grow their practices. Those dentists are actively searching for that particular service. So, number one, you can find a list of those people. Number two, they're actively searching for your services. Number three, they have an emotional or an irrational need that they want to fulfill. In other words, it's something that they're hungry for. It's not just something that would help logically. It's something emotionally that they're driven towards. That's really important, because if somebody's not emotional about something, there's not a really high probability that they're going to put up good money for it either. So make sure that they have some kind of emotional or irrational need that they're trying to fulfill. The final aspect of selecting your niche is that you need to find a niche that has few options, at least in their perception. So they have few perceived options. That doesn't mean that they don't have any options. It just means that when they find you, they probably aren't seeing a bunch of other options available to them, so they're going to jump all over your service. And that's very helpful. Finally, then I'm going to cover this in another video, but there are many different types of opportunities for coaches. You could get a job with a coaching company and just work for them. You could go out on your own and just figure it all out and start your own coaching business. You could, for that matter, go get trained in a coaching organization or pay for coaches training, let's say, and then go take those skills and offer them to a particular group. We have a bit of a hybrid model, and I'm going to describe that in another video that's coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. And if you want to make sure that you can get all of these videos that have a lot of the higher level techniques that we offer about how to get a coaching job, just go to coachestrainingblog.com and you can opt in and get all the different videos. We've got about 20 to 30 hours worth of training videos about how to coach and about how to market yourself as a coach and about how to get a coaching job on that site right now. You just go ahead and opt in, and you'll get all the really valuable stuff that we have to offer.